Chapter 13, Inventory Management. So here's the types of inventory. There's raw materials and purchase parts, work in process, finished goods inventories or merchandise, tools and supplies, maintenance and repairs inventory, and then goods in transit to warehouses or customers, sort of pipeline inventory. So there's two objectives of the inventory control. First is the level of customer service. This is really having the right goods available in the right quantity, in the right place, at the right time. Second is the cost of ordering and carrying inventories. So the overall objective of inventory management is to achieve satisfactory levels of customer service while keeping the inventory costs within reasonable bounds. So you can have measures of performance, customer satisfaction, sort of the number and quantity of back orders, customer complaints, and you can also measure inventory turnover. So there's a couple of ways of counting your inventory. The first is a periodic system. This is where you go through and physically count the items in inventory at periodic inventory intervals. And so you go count it. So let's say every month you count what you have and you order enough to replace it. Another is the perpetual inventory system. So this keeps track of removals from the inventory continuously, and then when it gets to a certain level, you order. There's something that's cool called a two-bin system, where you have two containers of inventory. And when the first one goes empty, you order the second. Now, I do this with shampoo and deodorant and those kinds of things. I always have one bottle of shampoo that I'm using, and then I have one bottle of shampoo in my inventory. And as soon as I run out of that bottle of shampoo, I immediately put on my list that I need a bottle of shampoo. I do the same thing with deodorant. A lot of things, especially if it lasts, anywhere from a month to several months, I just have one in my inventory. That way, I never run out of shampoo or deodorant or soap or any of those kinds of things. And it's sort of a two-bin system. Even though I don't have bins, I just have, this is where I have all my inventory of soap and shampoo. And it's a two-bin system. Okay, inventory counting technologies. So universal product code is the barcode that's on products. And so when you are checking out from a grocery store, when you check out, some computer somewhere is keeping track of that inventory, and it's decrementing that inventory. So it knows that it just sold that item. There's also RFID, radio frequency identification tags. And so what this is a technology similar to barcodes, but it uses radio waves to identify objects. And the cool thing with that is you don't have to actually see the object. You could go to a shipping container and use an RFID reader and count everything in that all at once with the RFID reader. So it has a limited range, but it's pretty cool. There's stores that some of the clothing, they're starting to put RFIDs into the clothing, and it raises the concern of privacy, because they can track that piece of clothing, and if there's an RFID reader at the door, not only do they know when they sell that piece of clothing, but they can also measure when you come back in wearing that shirt. If they know they sold it to you, they know how often you're coming back in the store wearing that shirt, which is sort of interesting. Inventory cycle. So here you have the inventory on hand, and that sort of shows the usage rate. And then when you get to this point right here, this is your reorder point. So you know, when I get to this level, I'm going to reorder. And this is the lead time right here. So I place the order and I get the inventory right at the precise moment that I need it, and here's my new inventory. So that's sort of the inventory cycle, and that's with a nice level inventory. But even if the inventory is not real level, if you have this reorder point, it's whenever you get to. So this is a perpetual inventory. So then the question is, how much inventory should you have on hand? So here, this is a formula. Essentially, this line here is your ordering costs, and this is your holding cost. So when these two cross, that's really the point where it's the optimum order quantity. Now there's other considerations, because the shape of this curve may not be this shape. It very easily could be, well, if you buy a truckload, you get this much. If you buy a half a truckload, it costs you this much. If you buy a pallet, it costs you this much. If you buy a case, buy a box, whatever. So those are considerations. Reorder point under uncertainty. So when your demand or lead time uncertainty creates a possibility that demand will be greater than available supply. So reduce the likelihood, becomes necessary to carry safety stock. So safety stock is really stock that's held in excess of demand, expected demand, due to variable demand or variable lead time. So reorder point is expected demand during lead time and safety stock. So I talked about my 2-bin system, and I actually on deodorant, I sometimes will buy an extra deodorant, and the reason for that is the deodorant I like is only carried at certain stores, and so there's an uncertainty that I'll be able to find it when I need it. So sometimes I'll just go ahead and get 2, sort of as a safety stock. So here's graphically what the safety stock looks like. So here's your reorder point and your expected point here. And then this is the maximum probable demand during lead time is right here. And if this lead time is variable, you would take this maximum, and your safety stock might be more or might be less. But anyway, the concept is you would, if everything goes well, you would never drop below this safety stock line. So, summary. We talked about the types of inventory, the objectives of inventory control, inventory counting systems. There's periodic and perpetual. Inventory counting technologies, the UPC and the RFIDs, inventory a cycle, total cost minimization, and the reorder point.